Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to talk NFL Week 2 picks and predictions. So we started off the season 3 and 2, got burned on the kickoff return for the Cardinals Bills game, had that cover. And then, I laid the 3 with the Texans. They won by 2, fourth down stop got me, or the fourth down non-stop got me against the Colts. It is what it is. That stuff happens. So 3 and 2, still all in all a winning weekend. And that's the best we can ask for, right? So now here we go. Week 2. I got 5 games again on tap. Starting off with the Jets at the Titans. The Jets, 4-point favorites. I haven't really seen a lot of line moving in this game. The Jets are looking for a bounce back game. They got embarrassed on primetime football against the 49ers, got dominated. Aaron Rodgers is basically owned by the 49ers. The defense didn't look good. Christian McCaffrey's not playing for the Niners, and Jordan Mason went off on the ground against them. That's a much heralded Jets defense, and they got embarrassed. The Jets offense with Aaron Rodgers. To me personally, I didn't think Aaron Rodgers was going to be a big deal. I think a lot of people see Tom Brady do it at 45, and think everybody can. That's not the case. I think Aaron Rodgers is definitely fading. He's at the end of his career, but he's still good enough to play better than when he played against San Francisco. Now they're playing against a Titans team that coming into the season I had as one of the worst teams in the NFL. That first game against the Bears, they lost last week to Chicago in a game that they dominated for the most part. The Titans do have a good front four, but Will Levis, I've never been on Will Levis, so I can't say I'm out on Will Levis. I've never been on Will Levis. Um, I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't think they have really any serious threats at receiver, and I don't think they have a running game that can be consistent with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears being more scat back, third down back types. So this is a get right game to me for the Jets defense. I see the Jets defense rebounding from that performance against San Francisco. There's no way I can see Will Levis being able to navigate this Jets secondary consistently to put pressure on New York. And I think the Jets are probably going to be coasting in that second half. I like the Titans front, to maybe kind of give Brees Hall some issues, Brees Hall the Jets some issues on the ground. But for the most part, I see the Jets kind of coasting in that second half. So I like the Jets to cover that 4, as I don't believe the Titans offense will really get anything going. Moving on, 49ers at the Vikings, the same 49ers team that beat the Jets last week. Wasn't a surprise. The 49ers are a Super Bowl contender, right? And what's interesting about this game is this spread actually dropped from 6 to 5. Is it because Christian McCaffrey news? I don't know what caused people to jump in on Minnesota. I have Minnesota as the worst team in the NFC North. Definitely going to be drafting in the top 8 in next year's draft, going against a Niners team that for all they could make it to the Super Bowl again. This is a mismatch in every way, so I'm not sure why the spread dropped. McCaffrey is going to be out in this game, but Jordan Mason already proved that he can do it at this level. Plus, Kyle Shanahan has proven over and over that his system works with a lot of different running backs. I think Brock Purdy is going to have a bounce back in this game. He wasn't that consistent against the Jets last week. He's got a much easier matchup, so I can see him and IU getting his money. He should have a much better game this week. So I see the 49ers offense clicking against what is, in my opinion, one of the worst teams in the NFC. I don't like much on the Vikings outside of Jettas and Jordan Addison, and Jordan Addison isn't going to play in this game. I like Byron Murphy, the corner, too, but he's wasting his career on a bad team. But anyway, 49ers laying to 5. That to me is an easy pick. I see the 49ers probably routing this team, despite it being on the road. Next up, Raiders at the Ravens. Ravens coming in this game is an 8-point favorite. This spread has kind of bounced a little bit up and down, but we're settling in at 8. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens want to get. They've had like 10 days to get that taste out of their mouth of losing to Kansas City basically by a few inches. Isaiah Likely was out of bounds when he caught that pass for a potential game-winning touchdown because they were going to go for 2-point conversion from what it seemed like. Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. There's a lot of weapons, and of course King Henry. There's a lot of weapons on this Ravens offense that should be able to eat against a Vegas Raiders defense that I don't believe is very good at all. Front to back, these guys are not talented. on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, Gardner Minshew's going at it again at quarterback. Can Gardner Minshew navigate this Ravens defense? Man, there's no way in the world I see that happening. I think the Ravens should win this game in a walk. I think this is another, similar to the 49ers Vikings game, I think this is another mismatch. So I got the Ravens and I'm laying the 8. Moving on, Bengals Chiefs. Joe Burrow against Patrick Mahomes. This is usually classic football. Usually you're seeing a classic. Some people like to say that Joe Burrow kind of slightly owns Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if I would go that far, but he has had his number a couple times. This game to me is a little different than those games. For one, Joe Burrow has a wrist. I won't call it an injury, but there's something going on with his wrist. He's going to play in this game, though. T. Higgins has a hamstring. He's doubtful. I don't think he's going to play in this game. Jamar Chase missed all offseason, then played last week, and he looked to me, he looked a little rusty, as did the entire Bengals offense, as they got an embarrassing loss to one of the worst teams in the NFL, maybe the worst team in the NFL, the New England Patriots. Carolina's still in the league, but one of the worst teams in the league, an embarrassing loss. This game right here, you're still trying to kick off rust. I think there's something up with the passing game. They're not gonna. I don't think their passing game is gonna click against an underrated Chiefs defense and Steve Spagnuolo running that defense. And I don't think the Bengals defense is gonna slow down a what potentially explosive Kansas City offense, because you got Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league. Xavier Worthy, man, game breaker. Andy Reid knows how to use him. Rashee Rice looking like a legitimate number one, and you still got Travis Kelce, and you still got Isaiah Pacheco running the ball. So I don't think Bengals match up. This isn't going to be like those classic games Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes have had before, because this Bengals team, I don't think is as good as those Bengals teams that Joe Burrow had before. So I'm taking Kansas City, and I am laying the 6 at home. And then finally, Bears at the Texans. Bears coming off of that win against Tennessee. We'll call it quote unquote win, because I don't know how they pulled that out. Will Levis threw the pick and the punt block, and Caleb Williams didn't even hit 100 yards passing in this game. So, he looked like a rookie. Is he going to still look like a rookie in week 2? I believe so. Is he going to still look like a rookie in week 2 against a Houston Texans team that I think is a Super Bowl contender? Again, I think so. I don't see Caleb Williams being able to navigate this DeMeco Ryans defense. I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure in this game. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson are going to put a lot of heat on him, and he might make a play here and there, but I don't think he's consistent enough to be able to drive down the field to keep pace with a Texans offense led by C.J. Stroud that is definitely going to throw some points up on the board. In Houston, in their home opener, that Texans got a lot of hype. That crowd is going to be going crazy. Sunday night football, man. This has it feels like a route to me, and that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going with the Texans, and I'm going to lay 6.5. So there you have it. I got 5 teams. All 5 are favorites, but I got 5 teams all covering this Sunday. If you like the content, please like, follow, subscribe. And if you follow along with picks, hopefully we go get this money this Sunday. You'll see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds. Take care.